Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to the most explosive podcast for football and the Premier League. Welcome to Premier Pals, where we have better explosives than AEW with Spartans.
Well, I mean, talk about underwhelming.
I'm your host, Shaun C. Walker, and next door to me in Old Trafford in New York, the birthday boy himself.
Well, it was Friday, but thanks anyway.
Everybody, wish him a happy birthday in the comments below.
37. I'm 37. I have to accept that my football career is not going to mount. I might never represent my country at the World Cup.
Brandon, ladies and gentlemen.
Cheers.
So, a lot has happened this past week. We've had broken toes.
Some broken hearts.
Yeah. I didn't tell you how I broke my toe, did I?
I'm assuming you accidentally hit it on something.
I stubbed it whilst making the bed.
That's why I don't make my bed.
It's the first time in like several months I made the bed because the missus was starting to like drive me nuts about make the bed. So I was like, fuck it, I'll make the bed.
See, I don't get the point of making the bed because you just sleep in it anyway, unless you're having people come into your bedroom, and like,
I hate it. I feel like I'm in a coffin when I'm in bed and it's all tucked in and shit.
Oh, I see. I don't mind that. I just don't mind like doing it after the fact.
Yes.
I don't. Or maybe if I'm changing my sheets, maybe like that's the one time I will do it. But as far as just making the bed on a daily basis, no, I don't.
Speaking of changing dirty sheets, Sheffield United have changed their manager. Chris Wilder has decided to walk. Apparently, he walked before he was pushed, and apparently the main reason behind his sacking and walking out is the transfer of Ryan Brewster. Apparently, that cost.
Was he for or against? Was he for or against?
Apparently, he was against it.
That's why he hasn't played him all season.
Maybe
they'd be up in the Premier League and scoring a bit more goals if they, played the guy they paid $40 million for.
Like, don't get me wrong. I liked Ryan Brewster. I thought he was a good young up and coming prospect, but not for Premier League.
Take that money in a heartbeat, though.
Like, he was tearing it up in Swansea last season, but Championship is a different level to the Premier League.
It definitely is, and I also think you can't get away, or at least you can't regularly get away with it, throwing your players under the bus like he did at the press conference last week, because the game was over with and he basically just said, yeah, I'm doing the best with what I have. And what I have isn't good enough. I'd like to get rid of a few players. I don't have them now. Like, it's not good. It's a players' league. It's a player. All sports nowadays are the power is with the players more than anything.
Mm.
And you lose your players, man. You could go.
You lose that dressing room,
and you can be replaced, and they will work for somebody else.
Who do you think is going to replace Chris Wilder? Like, who's your money on? Because normally it would be Big Sam at this point, but Big Sam is already.
Big Sam's he's already employed.
Right, Alan Pardew is already employed.
Steve Bruce is already employed.
Mick McCarthy is already employed.
Roy Keane says he wants the Celtic job. I think they'll keep that. Hey, I'm gonna throw it out there. There's a guy, he coaches your home nation. Might be looking for a job. Giggsy, give Giggsy a shot.
Oh no, Giggs won't fucking leave Wales.
That's too cushy of a job because they can just never fire him.
Pretty much.
The expectations for Wales aren't that high, so it's not like if he crashes out of a tournament, he gets fired.
It's basically get us to
tournaments,
qualifying. Yeah.
Get us through qualifying,
and then whatever it is bonus.
he'll have that job for until he chooses to let it go.
See, I was thinking maybe Eddie Howe would take it.
See, that's right. He does not have a job.
But apparently he's favorite for the Celtic job. Him and Rafa are both favorites for that job. So fuck those. And then I was going through the list of unemployed managers the other day, and there's Martin O'Neill. He's unemployed at the moment. You've got
Martin O'Neill's got to be close to his 70s though.
No,
he's
in his 60s. You say that, but look who's managing fucking Crystal Palace, dude.
Very true. Old man Hodgson,
exactly.
Uncle Roy.
And then you got Frank Lampard. Or do you reckon it'd be too soon?
I don't think so. I mean, I think he's probably getting some, very lucrative payments from getting out of his Chelsea deal. So maybe he wants to like ride that out for a little bit more. But I don't know if that's really the job for him, because that's gonna be an overhaul for sure, because there's gonna be some players leaving that club, and there's gonna be a lot of work to be done.
Well,
going down to the championship it's not guaranteed to go right back up. That is a very tough league, the championship. There are a lot of good teams down there that are hungry.
If Lampard wants a project,
that's a project. That's definitely a project. Darby was just to get his feet wet in management, and I think he knew the Chelsea job was going to be his sooner or later. Maybe John Terry wants to take. He's at the he's in the Aston. He's the assistant at Aston Villa. Maybe he wants to take a big job. But it's just crazy. We've reached the point in our lives where players we grew up watching, saw most of their whole entire careers, are now managers
and winning championships. In the case of
Steven.
Speaking of
wins his first league title ever.
Yep. And speaking of players that we grew up with, it's not really condolences, is it? It's more get well soon. Mark Gonzalez of Liverpool fame. He had a heart attack last week.
He's not that old too. Like he's not like a really old guy.
He's like 34, I think.
Yeah, that's I'm 37, bro. Like that's not much older than
I'm 31, dude. So he's in a better physical peak condition than what.
Just to show you it can happen. Yeah, for sure. Oh, for sure. It's not saying much. Case, as I sit here drink my Sprite.
I will always remember FIFA 07.
He's one of those FIFA legends.
Oh, FIFA 7. I shit you not, right? Number one tactic for me, right, was get the ball to the left. Mark Gonzalez, Craig Bellamy linking up between the two. Then Mark Gonzalez would whip it in. Peter Crouch on the end. Scores past Chelsea all the time. Darren, if you're watching this, he's my brother. I'm sorry for all the times Peter Crouch scored.
He's probably enjoyed that heart attack by Mark Gonzalez a little bit more than you did.
But every time Peter Crouch scored, it was the robot. Have to bust it out. Good times. Good.
I just completely forgot that one of my favorite shows of the last year during the pandemic was Ted Lasso on Apple TV Plus, and I didn't realize that his wife was in that show.
No.
Yeah, his wife plays she's not like, I guess I would call her she's not the female lead, but she's the female supporting character. Like she plays a character much unlike her real life persona. Good show, Ted Lasso. Strongly recommend it. Go out and watch it. If you love Scrubs, you'll love Ted Lasso.
And speaking of Scrubs, Mr. Glazer has decided to sell some more stock.
It's good transition. No, I mean, it's $71 million, which, like, in the grand scheme of things, it seems like a lot of money, but it's really less than 10% of the value of the club. So they've done this before. I don't know if this will inject some money into them, but it's usually just to enrich the Glazers, which, big surprise. Glazers, bought the club to, fund their own pockets with.
No, that's the main reason why any Americans get into the fucking Premier League, right?
Yeah. It's business. I'm hoping that more investors pour into the club and dilute some of the shares of the Glazers. Maybe if a buyer wants to come in.
Well, if the buyer,
I could dream, right?
Probably be a Saudi prince, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, no, there was that when Mohammed. It was during the first WikiLeaks thing. I think this was probably even before we started the podcast. The first WikiLeaks drop came out, and it was cables of U.S. State Department stuff, and I forget one of the Southeast Asian dictators. I think it was Malaysia, Myanmar, one of those guys that military dictatorship type people was interested in buying the club, and that was I had to take a hard look at myself, would I still continue to support the club if this happened? How would I feel? And there was an uncomfortable part of me that would be like, yeah, I'm okay with somebody who exploits their people owning the club if he comes in and he's going to buy players.
At the end of the day, right? All our kits are made by Chinese kids.
Exactly. Anyways. What are we doing here? Yeah, I mean, unless we're going to take down the corporate power structure ourselves, what are we really talking about here?
Who fucking cares?
Fight the power, though, for sure. Fight the power.
So today, Rio Patricio knocked himself out in the Liverpool game.
Connor Cody's knee knocked Rio Patricio out, and
So get well soon. From everybody here from the Premier Pals family.
I didn't see it, but the fact that he was out for as long as he was, I mean, yes, they have to take their precautions when it's a head injury, but you can only hope the best, and he's not going to miss significant time. But concussion protocol these days, you would expect John Ruddy to be in goal for the next 2 to 3 weeks at Wolves.
And the sad thing was Jimenez was there watching the game.
Yeah,
as well. So flashbacks for him is gonna be.
yeah, really.
It's gonna be somewhat on that.
I was gonna say, what's been the longest single stoppage of play in any game's history? Because that game went well into the 100 minutes, and it was a good 15 minutes. At what point in time, though, do you just call off? Okay, yes, it was still a very close game. It wasn't like it was 3-0. Wolves could still get a chance to get back in it. How mad would you have been if they scored in the 107th minute of time to equalize?
I would be really miffed. But breaking news: Rio Patricio is sitting up and is conscious inside the dressing room, and that is joking with friends. And
so it was just a pretty bad. It was worse than it seemed.
Yeah,
it
doesn't help when they take half an hour to get them.
Well, it is what you have to do when guys a head injury like that. You don't want to move them because you could cause a lot worse damage to them, a lot longer lasting damage.
But it was another clean sheet today. This Kabak and Nat Phillips partnership is getting somewhere.
You've worked out your defensive woes, and now I think Liverpool now are a scary team to play, because I looked at the schedule. The only really tough games that they kind of have are Leeds, Arsenal, and Manchester United, and they're not really spread out. They play United May 1st. I think Arsenal is next week, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm. And you guys have got FA Cup games in between, so we have more games than us.
Yes,
and everything.
So Liverpool could be a hard charger. You might actually finish in the top 4 after all this year.
Well, Brandon, it's not mathematically Man City's yet.
Yeah, still 13 more points.
So we were still there about, mate. We can still win it.
They just need 13. They just need to lose 6 in a row, just like you guys did.
Yeah.
Just totally feasible.
Yeah,
13 points. That's all I'm saying, man. 13 points. Do the math.
Fuck's sake. Yeah, well, teams in and around Liverpool lost, so that's good.
I think 1 month from now we'll be crowning City champions.
Leicester won 5-0. I didn't see that one coming.
No, I didn't see them putting 5 goals in. Especially Iheanacho, who had been much maligned throughout the year by Fox's fans for not scoring in these goals.
I didn't see Arsenal beating Spurs. To be fair, no idea how the fuck.
I figured Mourinho would Mourinho that into at least a goalless draw or sneak one late. I mean, Harry Kane almost got one late, but he was offside by a few feet.
You guys had a boring fucking game by the looks of it.
It was, but it doesn't matter. 3 points is 3 points.
Yeah, that's the way I'm looking at it today.
I'll take a boring game if we get 3 points.
Chelsea had a boring 0-0, surprise. And Everton lost to Burnley, so we're not the only team that lost to Burnley. So
I think if I'm Everton, I'm getting a little scared now because now Liverpool is ahead of them. Yes, Everton have a game in hand, but this once great season that that Everton fans were looking at, it's looking a little precarious now. Or at least not as good as it could have been.
As it stands, we're both on 46 points.
Liverpool have goal advantage, but Everton have a game in hand.
Yes. West Ham have 48, Chelsea have 51. So it's between the four of us.
I think West Ham are in the most danger of falling out of that because they were the Cinderella club of that anyway, and I think they're.
You can even probably count Spurs in that as well because they're on 45. So it's between Chelsea, West Ham, Liverpool, Everton, Spurs to get fourth place because Leicester City have got third, United's got second.
Well, I think it's going to be those two are going to be competing. It's going to be whoever finished second and third is going to be whoever loses a game first. I don't know if Leicester play Liverpool again this season in the league. I know we play them on the weekend in the cup.
No, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, the remaining fixture list is a little murky in my mind. I don't remember.
I've given up with watching the Premier League week in and week out, to be fair. It's all about the Champions League.
He says as he does a Premier League podcast.
And the Champions League, we got Manchester City versus Borussia Dortmund, blah, 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 blah.
I love how you try and pronounce German names.
All the letters in the alphabet.
Mönchengladbach.
So Man City's winning that. Real Madrid versus Atalanta.
Atalanta.
I think Atalanta winning? No, Real Madrid are winning.
No, I mean it would be something. This hasn't been the Champions League of upsets or like the quote unquote big names not being there. This is like I said, the first time since 2005 since neither Ronaldo or Messi are in the quarterfinals. That's a pretty big deal.
And the finals in Istanbul. I'm just saying, history can repeat itself.
Anything is possible.
Would be nice. I'd get my artist friend to replace this Premier League title with the Champions League title. It would be nice to have 7. I'm just saying.
You're still 4 behind Real Madrid, or 5 behind Real Madrid.
So is every fucking else. We got Chelsea and Atletico Madrid. Chelsea are currently winning this one. I sat the bridge, so I'm going to go with a Chelsea 1-0.
Yeah, I mean, if Chelsea could get a goal, was able to get a goal on the road with the way, especially the way Atletico play, they're a very defensive-oriented team. I call them Spanish Burnley. I don't see Tommy T's man, dropping anymore, or losing this one.
And then we got Bayern Munich and Lazio. Bayern Munich are 4-1 up.
Again, the Germans keep marching on.
And Thursday we got AC Milan versus Manchester United.
That was an absolute dagger, right? For them to concede late on a set piece. Oh.
To be fair, they did deserve a penalty in the first half. I'm just saying. Did they not?
I'm not saying. Yes, I'm not saying it. I'm not saying anything. I know that goal was definitely not, because that ball definitely came out but hit him in the hand. So, but yeah, United have definitely gone to the San Siro before and gotten results. So it's going to be on this team to do it. But the fixture list is just, you look at the way this team United have been playing as of late. They look tired. they need to refresh that squad, and even if it means starting guys that aren't quite ready yet, they got to do something. There's going to be a game somewhere where they have to just rest players. And I don't know if that's going to be on the weekend against Leicester, because obviously winning trophies is paramount.
You want to rest them against Liverpool. That's what you want to do.
But that's not until May 1st. We still got the month of April to go to that.
Anything to get ahead. So, what do you reckon the score's going to be for this one?
I have no idea. I really don't. I would be satisfied with 1-0, but the way they defend, I can't guarantee a clean sheet. I do like the way Dean Henderson's been playing. Dean Henderson literally didn't have to do anything in front of goal, so the defense did bail him out last week, but it was West Ham. Milan's a little bit more talented than West Ham, with all due respect. I'll be happy with a 1-0 and just getting out of there, getting out of Italy, and then just going right back home.
I can see it going 2-1 to Manchester United.
That would be nice, but then they would still.
Rangers drew with Slavia Prague the other day. 1-1. That was a really good game. It was a really entertaining game, considering I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I reckon Rangers are going to win that one. Arsenal versus Olympiacos. I think Arsenal already winning that. Yeah, 3-1. So
yeah,
I can see.
I think if Arsenal go far in Europe, they'll be quite happy with their season. And considering if where they were a couple weeks ago.
I think Spurs just scraped by Dynamo Zagreb. No, they're 2-0 up. So
well. We could get a North London derby in the next round of the UEFA Europa League.
It would be nice if Spurs knocked them out. I'm not gonna lie. I fucking hate Arsenal. I hate Arsenal fan TV. I'm sorry for those who watch it, but I
you can't drive by blood fam.
You lose brain cells, right? It's just not me.
I like Troops. Troops was good. Troops was so good that Barstool Sports hired him. I think Troops was their big star, and now that he's gone, they have to rely on other people. But yeah,
I'm not calling anybody out because I don't want the beef.
Shout out to my man. I'll call him out. I'm not naming it, guys. But I know. I said I like Troops. Shout out to Troops.
We got in the Premier League action on Friday. We got Fulham Leeds United.
It's a downcast week. Yeah, I don't know. I think this one's going to be a draw. The rare Leeds draw, I think.
And Saturday in the Premier League, we've got Spurs, Southampton, which has been postponed. And why? I don't know. It doesn't say. And then we got Brighton against Newcastle. Bottom versus bottom. Hopefully Brighton will get the win.
Yeah, Brighton definitely needs to start getting some points, or else they will very, very, very quickly find themselves in the bottom three.
FA Cup is Bournemouth. Oh, that's why it's postponed, because Bournemouth have got Southampton in the FA Cup.
Oh, a little South Coast action. There'd be something if Bournemouth could get there, and I feel bad for Eddie Howe that they start having success, this kind of cup success, after he's out of the club. But no, I think Alpine Klopp will do more than enough to.
I can't believe I'm going to actually say this, but I'm hoping Everton's going to win.
Who does Everton play?
They got Manchester City in the FA Cup.
That would be good. I doubt it's going to happen. That would be very, very good. I just think if City win it all this year, if City win everything this year, I will be on suicide watch. It's one of those things. I'm glad I don't have a lot of City fans. I think Greco might be the only City fan I have, and I think he literally only supports them because they play in sky blue. So
that was better than the other reasons that I've heard people support fucking Man City.
Because I'm not even going to get into it.
The 15 years ago. Who the fuck was supporting Man City? No fucking knows.
Exactly. They were a mid-table club at best.
I remember when Stuart Pearce used to manage them. Remember that? Good times.
Without money, they'd be Newcastle.
Shaun Wright Phillips. Oh, those were the days. Good old Noel Gallagher.
I remember I called because I was in Yankee Stadium and it was just at the old building. It was the last game I went to in the old building, and a guy in front of me, didn't know this guy. We were just like standing in line in front of each other, trying to get into the stadium. He was a Man City fan. He was an Englishman, and I just kind of like I heard him talking about it, and then I did a quick like adjusted my Manchester United shirt, and I said, no, the team could be dangerous if they, buy the right players and start throwing their financial weight around. And here we are.
We got another London derby this weekend. West Ham and Arsenal. I'm gonna go with that West Ham win on this one.
Yeah, I mean, I think they need to bounce back and put some pressure on the other teams that are fighting for those top four in European spots, because I think if they don't finish in this, what is it for? Okay, hey, we weren't in the relegation fight. Yay. What is the season for if not, that's literally the only thing they have going for them at this point.
Aston Villa versus Tottenham. I'm gonna go draw. This has got draw written all over it.
Yeah, it does. Most Mourinho games do, to be honest. Yeah, I just don't see any one of them really taking the game by the scruff of the neck and doing anything with it.
And then the FA Cup games on the Sunday. We got Chelsea, Sheffield. We're both going Chelsea on this one.
Yeah.
And then Leicester City versus Man United. We're both going United on that one.
I'd be a terrible fan if I said Leicester was going to win. Although me and my friend Bryant are going to have very interesting conversations because he's a Leicester fan and I'm a United fan, so it's going to be a rivalry weekend, to say the least.
Thankfully, there's no Monday games next week either, so I don't have to listen to Martin Tyler natter on about gibberish.
And it's going to be, we're coming up on an international break soon, so hopefully guys can, get rest. Those who aren't going to go on internationals, and no serious injuries happen. But this will be weird because it seems like it's been forever since we had an international break. It's really those last 3 months or so has just been jam packed with games.
Oh, I forgot to ask you at the beginning of the show.
What
do you make of Zaha not taking the knee for Black Lives Matter this weekend?
I get his reasons for doing it. I'm all for it, and I think it was largely a performatory gesture. Like, they had to do something. The American sports were doing something. The Premier League recognizes that they have a worldwide audience. For them not to do it would be tone deaf. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with what Derby County does. Derby County doesn't take the knee. They all just stand together. I'm okay with teams doing their own thing, because if everybody just does the same thing, they're really just robotic. And I'm all for players expressing themselves however they want to. And especially a guy like Zaha, who has probably had to deal with this kind of stuff coming up.
And in other football news, Drew Brees is retired.
Yeah, what are you going to do? You're going to do with Jameis Winston as quarterback?
I'm gonna crawl into the fetus position and cry.
Look, a guy can't do anything more for a franchise than Drew Brees did, because the Saints were literally a joke when before he came there. I think they had 2 winning seasons in 3 decades, and now he's turned them into a perennial powerhouse and made them legit. And hey, they won a Super Bowl under him too, and they probably could have won at least 2 more, whereas it not for 2 of the most amazing, and one of the most amazing plays I've ever seen, and one of the most amazing blown calls there's ever been in the history of the game. So shout out to Drew Brees. I look forward to hearing him Sunday nights on NBC, because Lord knows Chris Collinsworth was getting very, 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 very boring, or very, very, and you could even tell he was bored too, just trying to go through the motions. So it should be an interesting NFL season next year.
It's nothing worse than watching old football players that you like just become boring and stale. I fucking hate Jamie Carragher. I can't fucking
Well,
stand him.
he's become a character of himself
Oh,
because
he's such a cunt.
he's the an undoubted Liverpool homer.
Oh.
Him and Mike, him basically making fun of Micah Richards. Like, Stephen, like Jamie, you haven't really had much better career than Mike. I think Micah Richards at least won a Premier League. Like,
well, like this Jimmy Carragher could say he was on the Champions League. So, you know.
Okay, so there you go.
To me, it was tomatoes, isn't it?
6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
Right.
And both of them were tertiary players on those squads.
Plugs.
Go subscribe to False Finish Productions on YouTube as well as this channel. Go listen to False Finish podcasts on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your fine audio content. Rate, review, subscribe, share.
Instagram.
Instagram Premier_Pals, or no, it's Premier Pals Pod. No, what do we do?
Premier _.
Premier _Pals. Always the underscore.
Always the underscore. Yeah. Twitter is at Dirty Lou Roll for me. And at that Brandon All Hope for Brandon. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all that jazz.
Make the algorithm work. I don't want to go back and get a real job. Let's go. I got to the end of September before my unemployment rolls out. People, make me internet famous.
I've got until the first weekend of April before I go back to work.
I think the end of September is when my good time Charlie comes to an end on the U.S. federal government. So I'm fully intending and enjoying every bit of it that I can.
So this has been this week's Premier Pals for the 15th of the 3rd, 2021. Like I said before, like, comment, and subscribe. And I've archived all the old Premier Pals episodes, so you can go back and watch them to see how bad and shit editing and audio was back then.
All the content was. And...
All right then, guys. Thank you for watching and chilling with us in the dugout. That's the full time whistle. Peace out, homies. Lots of love.